Hey everybody, we're back, brand new and first Cabral HouseCall of the weekend. This is the weekend edition of the Cabral concept. Thanks so much for joining me as always, each and every weekend. I don't even know how many years it's been now, over 8 years, bringing you well over 5,000 questions answered. One of my favorite things to do. I mean, it really is. I love working one-on-one with clients. I'll never stop doing that. I'll do that for the rest of my life. Of course, I love overseeing a larger team that truthfully does the majority of all of our appointments, well over 10,000 still a year. And I love teaching. I love teaching all of our integrative health practitioners. So the weekends are my chance to continue to stay in touch and answer as many questions as we can. First question today is from Alicia. And Alicia says, "Hi, Dr. Cabral. Thanks to the knowledge you share, I was able to improve my thyroid. I took your thyroid course and I listen to your podcast regularly. Last year when I tested my thyroid, all the markers were in range except for the anti-TG. Having those antibodies still suggests I have Hashimoto's. As you said on the podcast, it may just take longer for the antibodies to disappear. I waited another year and retested my thyroid again. All looks good except I still test positive for Hashimoto's. The latest test shows anti-TG of 4.42, whereas the test a year ago showed at 9.35. So there is a definite decline. My question, should I do nothing about it because it takes years for the antibodies to disappear, or the fact that I still have those antibodies for so long indicates a problem?" All right, yeah, great questions, really great questions. And by the way, congratulations on all the work that you've done and the results you're now seeing. So if your thyroid is within range, that means you run the stress mood and metabolism test and the free T4, the free T3, the TSH, all of those look good. They're all healthy. Your thyroid and your cortisol levels look good. The thyroid's good. So a doctor can say, "Oh, you still have Hashimoto's because your antibodies are high." Again, if you want to look at the world, not you, Alicia, but if conventional medicine wants to look in the world in terms of just black and white, I get it. But the issue is that you are not suffering, it seems, any of the effects of the Hashimoto's because your thyroid is now balanced. And it does take time for these antibodies to often dissipate. Antibodies float around. If you're looking at this on videos, my buddy Walter here, I've had him for over a decade. So when we look at the blood, the body makes these antibodies. And then over time, as the body continues to become balanced and healthy, typically those numbers decline and they dissipate. And then, like myself and others who no longer have autoimmune issues, you're said to be, you no longer have, right, the autoimmune issue, which is supposedly not able to be possible. So what I recommend is this. Again, I can't give any medical advice, medical treatment plans, medical cures, medical diagnosis. Just make sure that your vitamin mineral levels are good, that your omega-6 to omega-3s are good, that your gut health is good, that your heavy metals are low. And so if you're doing that, you're doing your quarterly detoxes, you do your yearly heavy metal detox, keep getting the body to get even healthier. Like that's the goal. And slowly increase your exercise. Start to do sauna. Like just follow the rain barrel effect. That book is literally how I practice, and it's free. I mean, the book is literally free because I want to get that information to as many people as possible. All right. So Alicia, thank you for writing in. Keep up the amazing work. All right. Next question. Next question is from Alicia. Alicia says, "Hi again. I also want to ask you about two other things that were off on my chart. I have very high levels of B12. I don't supplement with B vitamins, but I take a multivitamin daily. Since I saw a very high B12 in my blood work a couple of years ago, I decreased my dosage on my multi instead of taking a full dose. I take half the dose or 2 of 3. Despite of that, my latest test shows very high and out of range B12. Can this be toxic to my body? Have you ever heard of very high B12 levels indicating cancer? Second, my prolactin levels are very low. What causes it and how can I correct that? I'm 41 years old with improving health, but still have some hormonal imbalances." Okay, got it. So here's the thing. I can never, and I always want to say this to you, I never want to read blood work for people on a podcast, and I won't do it. And here's the reason why. When I'm doing a consultation, I'm looking at hundreds of markers, and no single marker is the end all be all. So like you might have elevated B12, but I don't know what your liver enzymes look like. I don't know. Did you run just B12 on blood work? Did you run the Candida metabolic and vitamins test and look at methylcobalamin, which is a much better indicator of usable B12? Because if B12 in your blood work is high, but methylcobalamin is low, you might have an issue processing this with your liver, right? And a lot of people with autoimmune issues can often show high for B12. Why? Well, the main stores, again, this is never talked about. Your medical doctor is certainly not going to share it with you. The main stores of B12 are in your liver, right? So if you take in B12, but you can't store it in your liver, where is it going to be? It's going to be in your blood, right? So it's not always, oh, I'm taking in too much B12. It's, I'm not utilizing it. I'm not absorbing it. I'm not digesting it. So we need enough stomach acid. We need to keep lowering the autoimmune issues. We need to make sure the liver is healthy. And you also need to make sure you're taking a good quality daily activated multi. I know you're not using the Equilife one and you don't have to, but make sure the product you're using actually has methylcobalamin, right? So like the methylated version of that. Adenosine works for some people as well. And I have a whole podcast on that, but just, look for that. And no, I don't have any direct correlations between high B12 in the blood and cancer. So I wouldn't, be thinking that. That's certainly not something I'm thinking, but I am thinking, is there liver storage issues? And again, it might just be the autoimmune that you're continuing to overcome as well. So that's certainly important to, I think, look at that. And since I don't have all of your blood work, I can't necessarily say. Okay, so the other thing I will say is that your prolactin levels often are dictated by the thyroid as well. And so, it's very interesting that both of these things with autoimmune could be affecting those two levels. Because again, I don't know any medications you're on. I don't know what your dopamine levels look like. I would really, if possible, I would really run the Big Five if you haven't run the Big Five. But for you, maybe if I could just choose one, it'd be the Candida Metabolic and Vitamins test. Okay. Some medications can throw up prolactin levels as well, like certain steroids, etc. Okay. So hopefully that was helpful. All right. Madison's up next. Hey, Stephen, I got a steroid shot in my hip for a sinus infection 6 months ago, and the injection site is a large dimple now that's about twice the size of a quarter and pretty deep. I assume this is fat atrophy. Is there any way to help with this condition? All I've read says fat grafts and Botox. Would red light therapy help? Is there a natural cream to stimulate the cells there to regenerate? Should I try a detox mask on the upper area of bentonite clay? I need help. I'm worried it will keep growing wider and deeper. Thanks for all you do. Okay. Yeah, happy to help with this. It's not necessarily common, but common enough that I know about this and I don't practice conventional medicine. So when an injection is given, especially like a steroid, and it goes into the subcutaneous fat instead of directly into the muscle, like usually you're giving this in your glute, what happens is it can actually destroy the fat. Fat is, there's cells as well. Like there's muscle cells, there's cardiac cells, well, there's fat cells, and they're called adipose tissue. So it can literally atrophy the adipose tissue. And that means that it can actually, in some cases, kill it. And so those cells die. And now there's nothing to plump up that area because the fat cells are gone, right? And so that's why they talk about a fat graft. They need to bring fat back to that area because the fat cells are actually gone. They're not there anymore because they were destroyed during the injection. Now, let's say that's not the case though. Okay, I recommend foam rolling, mild, just your own massage. You can do that with castor oil, can be great, or anything to get the blood flow going to that area is excellent. So I would do that. The red light is a good idea as well for collagen and helping the rebuilding there. Use something like the Daily Foundational Protocol Level 2, which is all your B vitamins, your omega-3s, like a lot of nutrients, and then add vitamin C, and then add the advanced collagen support to that if you'd like. But here's the thing. It shouldn't keep growing wider and deeper. Like the damage that was done, hopefully is just done and that's it and no more. Do I think that it's a detox issue? Not really. I don't, especially it was 6 months ago, but there's nothing wrong with doing that bentonite clay mask. And so you're welcome to do that. You can also do a castor oil pack if you wanted to on the area. Nothing wrong with that either. It's very anti-inflammatory. All right. Hopefully that was helpful, Madison. All right. Katie's up next. Hello, Dr. Rawl. I will always be a big fan and watch you daily. Thank you, Katie. Appreciate that. I feel that I have grown as a nutritionist and have been able to help more people because of you. Keep the good fight. We need you. Keep up the good fight. We need you. I appreciate that, Katie. That's really what it's all about. I want to be able to teach others and they teach others. That's really it. So whether you're a nutritionist or you're a mom and dad in your home teaching your kids, or your parents or grandparents, whatever it might be, that's what it's all about. Someone taught me. I'm trying to teach others. That's really what it's all about. All right, so I was wondering what your thoughts were on Zeolite. I just started it and I read that it can remove parasites along with heavy metals. I did the Equilife minerals and metals test and it showed high mercury and aluminum. I'm also going to do your heavy metal detox, but want to do the maintenance with Zeolite. Appreciate your feedback. Much love. All right, thank you, Katie, for writing in. So I've talked about Zeolite many times in the podcast. Head on over to stephencabral.com/podcasts. And the reason that I mentioned that is that, Katie, you're able to go back. What's today? I think it's 3193 is today's podcast. You're able to go back 3,192 podcasts and just type in Zeolite and you'll find all the shows I talked about Zeolite. So we chose not to put Zeolite in our universal binder. And I want to share with you exactly what's in there. Universal binder by Equilife. You just Google that. It'll pop right up, first result. And you will see that it is sodium bentonite clay. We just talked about that in the last one. Humic acid, apple pectin, carbonized activated charcoal. So that is the healthiest, cleanest form coming from coconut hulls. Taurine, fulvic acid, TUDCA, and then bamboo shoot extract, which is silica. Okay, so I've shared this before. The formula originally was supposed to have some zeolite, and it was supposed to have shilajit. It is really hard to get those two products to not also have heavy metals. So while I'm an advocate of shilajit and zeolite, many of them have heavy metals. I had to throw away. Basically, this is what I did. The raw material came in. It was thousands of dollars. I won't say how many, but many thousands of dollars. I basically just had to light that on fire. It was like lighting many thousands of dollars on fire because we couldn't use it, because we test all of our products. And it came in with metals, like many of them do. So zeolite is also a weaker heavy metal detoxifier. Now, can you use zeolite and get those little bit of benefits on let's just say you do it every day for like 4 weeks or 8 weeks. I don't know about every day, but so you can use zeolite daily, but I wouldn't use it every day for a year. You might use it for like 6 weeks or 8 weeks, and then you would stop. So I don't have an issue with zeolite, but it is not a strong chelator of metals to essentially pull them out. But overall, yeah, I'm not against the product at all. I've spoken about it before in the podcast. I also like shilajit. Shilajit doesn't taste all that great. But so we use something called the universal binder, and that's what we found to be fantastic. And I mean, people love it. So hopefully that's helpful. And it's gentler, less histamine issues, etc. All right. Thanks for writing in, Katie. Appreciate you. Maya, or Mia, is up next. Hello, I discovered you on Mind Pump, and I love how you run all the tests with Sal, Justin, and Adam. Yes, we do. So, and Doug. A few months ago, you ran an Epigenetics aging test to see what their biological age is. What did you use with them? Oh, great question. And again, you can always write in at cabralsupportgroup.com. I'm happy to answer this, but you can get same day answers at cabralsupportgroup.com. All right, so let's, you can go to, I think it's stephencabral.com/biological-age-test. Biological age-test. Let's see. Biological. Well, yeah, I have to be able to spell it correctly. So if you spell biological correctly, like I did not, -age-test, it should pop up. And let's see. I'll try it again. I'm just going to type in my name to Google, which sometimes I have to Google myself, and type in bio-age-test. Let's see if it pops up then. All right. It is at highperformancehealth.org/biological-age-test. So there you go. All right. highperformancehealth.org/biological-age-test. Hopefully that is helpful. That is the biological age test that we do. It's absolutely fantastic. No matter where you start at, you're going to get a lot of information. You get a 45-minute tutorial course from me. Excuse me, on how to read that course. And I definitely recommend it as well. That's the same one that I use too. All right, let's see. That is it for today. I will be back tomorrow answering more of our community's questions. Looks like we've got another grade 5. Can't wait to dive into those tomorrow. All right, take care, everybody. Have an amazing rest of the day. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.